Well, good morning, or is it good evening, or is it good day? Whatever it's gonna be. Всем привет. Quick overview after a long requested scope as far as how the build was done on the JKU or JKU-R or whatever you want to call it. Kind of shining the camera over. I'm prepping for a trip, hoping to do OBDR Route 3. Those who know what it is, you know what it is. Those who don't know, you can Google it. So anyways, today really quick overview as far as what was done to the Jeep, and I'm gonna go a little more in detail on some of the parts. If this video gets boring, you tell me, but that does not gonna make any difference. So anyways, I can if people request enough, I can go into specifics of certain parts. I'm holding my phone, so if it gets a little shaky or jittery, it is what it is. So let's go into detail and see how it goes. So let's start. 2013 JK 4-door, or JKU as they call them. It started its life as a JKU Sport, one I acquired from an auction. A little windy. So gear for the trip, as I mentioned. This vehicle I built in 30 days at the shop with Max's help and assistance at CA2 Off-Road in Sacramento, North Highlands. Who doesn't know him, check him out on Instagram or in person at his shop there in North Highlands by Sacramento. So to start with, basically it was a sport edition and modified to be done as a Rubicon version. So lockers, transfer cases and such. So let's start with under the hood part. Under the hood, first modification that I like to have is just have a deep cycle battery. Keep in mind that running two Optimas gives you about same amount of amp hours as this one battery. So in my case, I believe this one anywhere from 100 to 120 amp hours. I can't remember exactly the number. Not piled up, nothing aftermarket electrical wise, except the two wires, which are, I believe, so this one is going for my rear, and then I have also winch, and then winch here, and then this is my one of them is going for, oh, here we go. This one is for my all the electrical accessories, such as the front light, LED bar, lockers, and the rear lights. So here I'm gonna go into detail a little more. Here's all the relays and breakers for all the lighting and all the lockers. So rigid single row LED bar, nothing special. I like how it looks, kind of nice and tidy, nothing bulky. I believe it puts out enough light to do what I do. Most guys, you know, they want to have a bigger light bar, more lights, but kind of pointless when you can't really use all that lumen power. So headlights, JW speaker, truck lights have good reputation as well. I always run truck lights. Those who know me from previous videos, this time they were actually cheaper the way I was buying them, so I figured I'll try these out. Worn, nothing special. I just went with a VR Series 10S with a synthetic rope. It does its job. Figured to try it out. Never tried the VR Series. So far happy. Has done its job as it should. Bumper was simply built. Nothing special. Kind of like a stubby. I'm gonna say nothing special one too many times. So I cut off the front tips and basically did like a sleeve wraparound, 1/4 inch steel front and the bottom, and the rest were 3/16. 2 bolts through here, 2 bolts through here, all grade 8. Does an excellent job. Some of these clevises for the D-rings, and they do a good job too. Nothing that a winch can't handle, I guess. So that wraps around as far as the front end, I believe. We're gonna go into the back. So far I have not done anything to the factory bumper. Let's swing this guy closed. Nothing done to the rear bumper, all factory. Just cut the sides to compensate for the tire flex. These were acquired through eBay. They are metal. If you lean them against the tree, I guess you will bend or damage your quarter panel or your fender, but they're kind of tucked away. Just to give you an idea, this is how it looks with Hutchinson beadlocks with an 1 3/4 wheel spacers. Just keep that in mind. So Terraflex tire carrier, really like how it's nice and sturdy, does its job. There are a couple other brands that do the same thing. I don't think it makes a difference. I guess it's a matter of personal preference. Gone with the rear lights. These are floods, rigids, three lights in there. I used to have them on the roof rack of my Lexus 470, LX 470. Who knows, who remembers that thing? Let's see that. Recently what I've done actually is kind of interesting. So I put this little thing in here. Oh yes, Nikson Overland, custom build. Plugs ordered online. Box was cut with a laser that I have access to. Wiring done by my buddy Ben. He prepped all the wiring, and I'm actually thinking of selling this. So if anybody is interested to buy a couple of prototypes, what I'm hoping to do is put a timer for one of them, and then do like a relay in here as well. Right now this is just a hard connect where basically the positive runs directly to the battery in the front, and it has a, I believe, a 20 amp fuse on it, and then the ground is just connected under here somewhere. I'm surprised actually that I haven't seen any of the factory wiring in here for the rear outlet. I heard there are some versions of JKs that had the factory done. I have not seen anything yet though. This has a coilover. Big thanks to Ryan with AccuTune Off-Road. Check him out on Instagram. He was the one who tuned and all. So how it started is you have to remove all the factory brackets for the control arms, because this used to be what is called mid-arm kit from factory, and I went to the long arms. A lot of guys ask about height of the lift. I don't really have anything. What I've measured to so far is roughly about 3.5 inch. That's what mine is. But since this kit was put together by multiple parts, by multiple manufacturers parts, I really have no way of saying which way it's done. So these came from Rough Stuff Specialties, I believe, the towers. Fox bump stops 2 inch, coilovers. Here's some of the spring rates in case anybody wants to know. These are 2.0 Foxes. Like I said, Ryan from AccuTune, he did a great job tuning them and valving them. So keep in mind that there's two differences to that. Nothing special, just extended brake lines. Doesn't matter what brand you run, really, I guess, whatever, like I said, matter of personal preference where you can get and whatnot. Some of the axle stops, asphalt. Rough Stuff Specialties here as well. Steering components, rare parts. These are heavy duty rebuildable ball joints. Steering, so drag link and whatever the other bar is. So all of the steering components were that. Now this piece was purchased also from Rough Stuff Specialties, custom bent. Max did this guy for me, and then the rest components are also from Rough Stuff Specialties. Also their bracket here. This is all custom built, so there's really, I can't really go into all the details. It's to each application separately. So these are the steering and the track bar are pretty much zeroed. So there's no bump steer, there's no brake steer, there's no kind of a excessive sway on the steering. Keep that in mind. So that's one of the more important parts. Let's stick to the suspension. Same. So same here, factory with quick disconnects. I did not go with anti-rock or anything like that just yet, although I'm considering to do so. Front axle and rear axle, you will notice they've been upgraded to the Rubicon ones that I bought off Craigslist, and I put Artex, I believe, reinforcements. So stiffen it up a little bit here for the control arms, and then the C's as well. All stock for axle shafts and everything right now. There's nothing special, just a regular Rubicon Express, I believe. This dampener for steering, it does fine. A lot of guys complain about the fact that it's so small, it doesn't do its job. In my case, one thing I can tell you that if everything is tuned right and everything is set right, there will be no issues at all. This little seepage or leakage actually is just because I topped off my fluids up top before the trip, so I am aware of what the leaks are about. Let's go to the back. Once again, keep in mind that this is all custom built, so there's really no application to it. So shocks again, AccuTune Off-Road, Ryan, he did this guy too. Tuned, valved, 2 JK application. As far as my request was 70% overlanding, 30% rock crawling type of setup. I have done nothing to the factory sway bar on the rear. The only thing is I drilled the holes up to give it more sway up. So that's the only part done. As far as I understand, it has to be actually level parallel to the ground, but in my case everything has been working fine, so I really haven't had to do anything. So let's see. Coils. Rear coils are metal cloak 3.5s. I have not put the spring correction pieces in there, but the bump stops are also 3-stacker there. Keep that in mind. Rear track bar is Rubicon Express. Covers are by Rough Stuff as well, 1/4-inch steel, very nice, very sturdy. This was from when I bought it, but I just welded it on. This is a raise for your track bar. I believe it was made by Procomp. So let's see, that pretty much covers the rear, I believe. Sliders, I put factory Rubicons, nothing special. A lot of welding had to take place for the control arms. Underbelly, it's all factory. Keep in mind that it is a Rubicon transfer case I replaced, and also Rubicon Expresses, I believe, 1310s, I believe, simply because I want the weak link to be here rather than in my ring and pinion in the axle, in case of anything, you know, having to snap or whatever. So far, no issues. Everything works great. Absolutely, just love how it rides. These are greasable fittings here. Let's see. Haven't done anything on the rack. One thing you might notice is it has a little matte look to it. I think it's maybe better. So this is just matte plastic dip on here. So once you go into the woods, you're not scratching your vehicle and you're not seeing all these scratches here. So yeah, check out NixonOverland.com, website in process of being constructed. It's all in the construction phase. Let's see, let's go cover a little bit of inside. On the inside, most common question, you know, where the buttons went. So a little pillar panel, Daystar makes it, a lot of other guys make it. Buttons, you know, whichever way you prefer them. I just like my always on. So this is ignition activated lockers, so they won't turn on unless ignition is on or unless, you know, the car is running. These two will turn on, as you see, light bar flickering, and the rear lights will turn on no matter if the car is running or not. I believe I'm the type of person that won't forget that it's on, and usually you could see it anyways. So I like to have them, you know, on if I need to without engine having to run. They're not on any kind of timer or anything either. Then RAM mounts for your phone. There's another one for the phone for the co-pilot. I like that. Recently I acquired a couple of these ham radios. I'm gonna see how that goes as far as, you know, your clip for your stuff, whatever. Let's see. I think that's pretty much covers it. And then gear wise, as far as, you know, what you carry, you know, I carry my stuff. This is how I like to deflate. You know, you got to get your gauge, and I just pull the stem. I think those AirB tools or whatever, I mean, it's, you know, to each his own. In my case, I like to just run it simple. So under, you know, just a strap. There's a small inverter under there, winch controller. Carry your gear as needed. Let's put it this way. Baby wipes. Those who have kids, they know these things do wonders no matter what you're doing. Hey, a little shovel actually I found on the way to Olali. Fire extinguisher is a must-have for any Jeep, I think. I like all the underspace. So I got my handsaw here, binoculars in case I need to spy on somebody. More baby wipes. Another shackle. So I think this one should have actually a 12-volt outlet put in. Eventually I will do that as well. So in the back, what do we have in the back? Med kit. Build it to your preference. If you don't know what it should have in there, I mean, just buy basic and expand on your personal experience. I have just a lot of bandages, antiseptic stuff, Neosporin, whatever, you know, some scissors, some tweezers, just basic stuff. I mean, if you're really hurting, you got to be calling 911 or, you know, get emergency personnel out there in any case. But for now, I mean, just basic stuff, and then pretty much a good first aid kit. You don't have to spend a whole lot of money. You would have it. I carry 2 blankets with me all the time. One like this one I bought in Costco. Like, these are supposed to be windproof, waterproof, sandproof kind of thing. Nothing really attracts to it except like grassy stuff. And then I carry a cot, not a cot, sorry, it's a hammock I bought from Costco. So I'm already testing out my smaller fridge in the back here. Really cool LED light that I've built it myself. So it's on a ramp suction cup with a 12-volt switch. So when you're camping out, just have the light running. So a couple of emergency kit things that I carry with me. So being Oregon, I've always got my rain gear with me, no matter if it's a sunny day or not sunny day. Extra plates, front license plate, extra straps. So, you know, useful tool no matter what you got, probably broken. Couple of extra towels, emergency orange vest in case something needs to take place, extra Ziploc bag, and I always suggest to carry whatever you like on MREs. Carry a couple with you, just in case if you're, you know, out in the woods, stuck somewhere or something. So just keep that in mind. It's all will come in handy, especially at that moment when you don't expect it to be handy, if that makes sense. So be safe out there. Don't do anything stupid that I wouldn't, or I would do, I guess. Okay, so that's pretty much the wrap on it. Quick and easy. Gears were done 513 factory lockers. That's why I bought factory axles, Dana 44s. I believe they're sufficient enough to do what I do. Then also these are 37s, 12.5, 17 Nito trail grapplers. Really like how they're performing so far. I have been doing 2500 rotation on them. So far I've done what, 2 rotations or 3 rotations since I bought them. Really like them. 37-inch tall. They are stiffer than the C-rated BF Goodrich KM2s that I ran on the previous Jeep. Hutchinson's, I'm not sure if I need to review these guys. They're excellent bead locks. Now keep in mind one thing: do not run balancing beads in with these wheels. If you do, I'm pretty much 99% positively sure that you will eventually have to remove them. In my case, I have to do it twice already. I know it was kind of a go figure. Twice did a same mistake. First time I blamed the disbalance on other issues, but I didn't really get through to it. There was other issues causing my death wobble. And in this case, actually, the disbalance was caused, I believe, by beads themselves, because there's an inner bead lock and the beads fall through, so they actually start causing issues. I can go into that deeper into that, make another video if anybody wants to know about it, but that's pretty simple as that. So really like the wheels, really like the tires. I highly suggest to anybody. I do not run 5th spare as a bead lock. There's just no point, because a lot of times locally when I run for a quick overnight run or something, or a weekend run, I don't even take my spare with me unless I'm going a longer trip like today, 4-day trip. I take the spare with me because I'm further away from home and I'm going to be deeper in the woods where you know, no easy access to whatever, and don't want to be limping on just a wheel itself, so to speak, I guess, right? So plus you can carry a treasure. But if you go to an E-rated tire on a Jeep, unless you're running so like a Dana 60 setup where you're heavy, I believe you're not going to be getting enough flotation of those tires, because they're just going to get too stiff. So that's just my personal opinion. Again, I mean, you are to practice and do your own thing and try to figure it out. Being that I like and prefer mostly, as far as how my rig is built, specifically for snow wheeling, for those who know, that's my favorite thing to do. So for snow wheeling, you want to have as best flotation as possible, so the E's will not flex out. Keep in mind it's cold, they get stiffer on top of how stiff they already are, and we're talking about sidewall right now. So with a D-rated sidewall, you're still getting what you want. With an E-rated sidewall, I don't believe you get as much of that balloon effect as you should be getting for snow wheeling anyways. For rock crawling, excellent. For mudding, it's excellent. You know, having a stiffer, thicker sidewall is always excellent for rocks, because you don't slice them, you don't cut them through with the sticks or whatever it is, you know, sharp object it could be. In my case, I found it perfect medium right there with the D-rated sidewall tire right now. One thing to keep in mind, with this setup, I'm pushing, last time I weighed it out, I was at, I want to say 4,700 pounds. So this is vehicle somewhat loaded with gear at a scale, just myself, you know, not running 2 jerry cans, obviously. I believe I had the spare tire on actually at that time. So I'm running roughly about, I'm still under 5,000 pounds no matter what. Now, any and every guy that I've talked to who runs a setup like 37s, 40s, with Dana 60s, with all the, you know, modifications, all the skid plates, all the tire carriers, and all the spares, and all the possible stuff you could put on, most of them are pushing 6,000 pounds. So just keep in mind that, you know, weight causes more issues. More weight you have, the more stopping power you need, more power you need to get going, etc., etc., etc. I mean, just piles up. Tuning is actually done by, oh gosh, the regular popular tuner that everybody runs. I thought I had a sticker. Super Chips. There we go. I don't remember all these brands now. So Super Chips. It calibrated everything I needed for gears, transfer case, just overall nicely done. So pretty much that's the story in the wrap on the Jeep. Next I'm gonna go for the gear that I'm taking. So if you're done with the overview as far as what the Jeep is built and what parts are there, good to go. Thanks for watching.